DreAllDay.com.
What's going on, everybody? This is Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. This is Q&A number 28 that you are watching right now. It's coming out on Sunday. Usually this Q&A will come out on Saturdays, but because yesterday, for those of you who don't know, those of you asking me if I'm going to play these guys from Verse 1 Federation, I just put out a Kickstarter campaign yesterday. You click on the annotation right there. It will take you straight to that campaign so you can see it, see what it's all about, read all the details, what you can get for supporting that campaign, and then ultimately you support the campaign. We're going to go make them games happen, and then we're going to see what's what. So the reason this Q&A is coming out on Sunday is because we did the Kickstarter launch yesterday. So this Q&A, for those of you who are not familiar, I answer all the questions in the comments from this video every single week. If you got a question that you want answered, you can leave it in the comments to this video, and I'll answer it in the next week's Q&A. I record these on Fridays usually, so you need to get your question posted no later than Friday afternoon Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to get right into this Q&A number 28. I don't read these questions ahead of time, so I have no idea what anyone's going to ask me, but let's see if anybody got anything good to say. Matt Mitchell says, will you be doing any more Q&As with other YouTubers? Coach Nick from B-Ball Breakdown is a suggestion. Yes, I definitely want to do some Q&As with some other YouTubers. Give me some suggestions. Aside from Coach Nick, I'm actually going to see Coach Nick in a couple weeks, and you'll see what comes from that. I actually tried to get a Q&A done with Coach Nick like months and months ago, but he didn't ever hit me back with the motherfucking answering video. So y'all going to have to holler at Coach Nick about that. But I am going to see him in person very shortly, and when we do, I'm going to see what we put together. Lambros9 says, there's a fierce rivalry between Panathinaikos and Olympiakos, and Mitchell Wiggins played professionally in Greece. But anyway, he says he wants to see a performance review on the Jordan Flex Trainer. How efficiently do you move laterally? That's his question. Well, as far as the performance review on the Jordan Flex Trainer, don't hold your breath for that. It's not really my niche doing performance reviews on sneakers, so I'm probably not going to do that. How efficiently do I move laterally? I don't know why he asked that question, but you can't really quantify with that kind of question how efficiently or how easy or how hard. You got to ask me a more specific question than that for me to answer it in words. Max Maximus says, is it better on your body to practice 4 or 5 days in a row and then take off 2-3 days in a row, or to just practice every other day? 1 day off, 1 day practicing. This question refers to basketball, not the weight room. It's not necessarily a better or worse. This is another question people often ask that I can't really be quantified. Is something better? Is something easy? Is something hard? It's no way I can quantify that for you. One thing that's easy for me might not be easy for you, or something might be easy for you might not be easy for me. So there's no way for me to quantify what's better for you or what's easier for you as far as what you're physically capable of doing in terms of your effort, your energy, and your output. So you would have to go and do these things, and most of the time, 95% of the time people ask me these questions is something that they would easily know the answer to if they just went out and did the shit instead of talking about it. So why don't you go do it, and then you'll have your answer. Kit Critic 12 says, I'm 13 years old. I play center and power forward in 8th grade. I'm a little over 5'7" tall. There's a lot of bigger centers than me playing. When I see them before games, I get nervous, I get intimidated, and I choke up. And he asked me, when I play games, do I get nervous seeing how the other players perform? And he looks up to me, he wants to know if it's normal. Well, Kit Critic, first of all, to answer your question about me, no, I don't get nervous looking at how other players perform, but at the same time, I'm almost 20 years older than you. I got a lot more experience than you, and I'm at the level where I feel like I can play with anybody. But you're 13 years old, you're 5'7", you're just hitting puberty. You probably haven't even gone through puberty yet. You're a child. So, of course, it is normal for you to feel intimidated sometimes when you see bigger players, especially when they're the same age as you, or older guys. If you got to play against them knowing that you're kind of undersized for the position that you're being asked to play on your team. Yes, it is normal to feel nervous before a performance. It is normal to look at somebody else and say, damn, they might be better than me, they might be bigger, stronger, faster than me, and that intimidates you. That is normal. That happens to people all the time. It's not, like I said, it's not something necessarily happens to me, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it happening to you. What you would need to do is, the number one thing you got to do is don't try to avoid these situations. The situations that give you fear, that make you nervous and intimidate you, if you run away from them and try to avoid them, all it's going to do is strengthen that neuroses, and you're just going to go through your whole life avoiding things and being intimidated by situations because you keep running away from them. What you need to do is go through them courageously. Let whatever happens to you happen to you. Nobody's going to kill you. Worst possible thing that can happen is you just get your ass kicked on the court, somebody scores 40 on you or something like that, but you'll live another day. You're not going to lose your life if you get beat in the basketball game. Go through it, you'll get better, it'll make you stronger, and even if you decide not to be a basketball player for the rest of your life, that going through that situation will make you stronger as a man as you grow up over the next 8 years when you become 21 years old and things like that. So basketball, they say basketball doesn't build character, it reveals excuse me, they say basketball doesn't build character, it reveals character, but I disagree. I think things you do in basketball both reveal character and they build your character, because if you go through a situation like this where you're looking at guys who are better than you, and you might be a little bit intimidated, as you go through it and don't get intimidated, don't get nervous, and don't run from the situation, that's going to make you a stronger person, which will transfer over into whatever else you decide to do with your life. Basketball 23 Shoes says, can you get to the NBA if you play D2 or D3 ball? Of course you can. There's two people I can think of off the top of my head from D3 who went overseas, not overseas, to the NBA. Terry Porter, who used to play for the Portland Trail Blazers, Devin George, who played for the Lakers when Kobe and Shaq was there. Those are two people I think of off the top, but I'm sure there are plenty others. They both played Division III, I believe. I know Devin George was Division III. I'm not sure if Terry Porter was D2 or D3. Jazzis08 says, I don't have a question, but I want to let you know you're a great motivational speaker. I thought about quitting basketball because people always tell me I'm not good enough, but Dre, you're the reason why I never gave up. Keep doing what you do, and I think you'll have an extremely successful public speaking career. Well, Jazzis, I really appreciate that, and I'm glad that something that I said, whether it was playing basketball or not playing basketball, has motivated you to make yourself a better person. I appreciate you sharing that with us. King of Kings saves us. Say, Dre, yo, keep up the hard work. Wish you nothing but success in your life. Stay blessed. Thank you, King of Kings saves us. Much appreciated. B Soprano 2123. He says, what's up, Dre? Who has the best handles or most hops of any player you have played against or seen in person? The best handles of any player I've played against? That's a very difficult question. Because handles, different way to look at handles. If you're talking about handles like the way most people who watch, I'm talking about YouTube viewers see it, they mean like doing all the crazy moves and stuff. You would have to look at somebody like guys I played against. You had to look at a Tim Hardaway Sr. You had to look at Carlos Arroyo's handle was very good. You had to look at a Kyrie Irving is another guy. Those three I could think of off top. Now he said, who has the most hops? Let me think about that. The most hops, man. I played against guys who y'all have probably never heard of who got crazy hops. One guy I could tell you who got crazy hops that y'all might have heard of. Y'all could look him up. My dude, Sir Isaac White. Isaac White, I played with him at the Summer Series game last August in Brooklyn. He was on my team. And that dude could jump out the damn gym. It's incredible. He was showing me, he got a bunch of videos on YouTube. So if you just actually look him up, his name's Sir Isaac, I-S-A-A-C. I think that's how he spells his name. Look him up on YouTube. You'll see some dunks he does. He does all those contests like the Sprite contest, the All-Star Game dunk contest with the guys who not in the league, but they got better dunks than the guys who are in the league. He's one of those dudes. He probably, just thinking off the top of my head, he has crazy hops. One of the guys I would definitely have to mention when you're talking about hops. But also when I played for the Harlem Ambassadors back in 2006, everybody on that team had hops. A lot of dudes. There's two guys I could probably name. They also from Houston, just like Sir Isaac. This dude named Keishane Reed from Houston. They called him K Reed, and this other dude named Terry from Houston. All three of them know each other, and they all from Houston, but I met them at different times. But those two dudes, Terry and Keishane, was on my team, the Harlem Ambassadors. Both of them dudes had crazy bounce, and this dude Isaac, he might have more bounce than both of them. So those are three, and they all from Houston, coincidentally. Elias Money 12 says, Dre, why do some of your videos look like they recorded a long time ago? Do you use a different camera each week, or are they old clips? Or do you use different cameras and some of them are not as recent? Sometimes I hold stuff off for later. Like I record stuff now that you might not see for another year or two, but it's not time sensitive. It's not like a pair of sneakers that just came out last week, so you gotta put out the video now. Stuff I record is going to be useful 20 years from now when your kids is coming up and watching basketball. So I have the luxury of being able to put stuff out at a later time, and I can also put something out that I record today, tomorrow if I want to. Robert Green says, Dre, I'm about to start my senior year of high school basketball. I'm the best. He's on the best team in the school. I'm in the best team in the school. I don't know what that means, but he says, I feel like I'm a good player, but I never played in front of large crowds and crazy fans. I get nervous. I don't play like I should. I don't even want the ball. Can I give him some tips on how to perform in front of large crowds and with pressure? Robert, go to my website, dreallday.com. Click on the link that says Guides, Tips, and Help. And on that page, I actually wrote a couple of guides about that exact question. Playing in front of crowds, people who play really good when they're by themselves or with their friends or in practice, but they don't play good in front of crowds or against people they don't know. I wrote about that specifically, so that directly answers your question. Giovanni Perdomo says, was it my plan to motivate and inspire all the people I do, or did it just happen? No, it was definitely not my plan. My plan when I first got on the internet was just to talk about myself, just to say the things that was on my mind. I always knew I wanted to have a website back in like 2002. I knew I wanted to have a website, so I started DreAllDay.com. I was actually blogging in like 2005 under a different website that no longer exists. But then the YouTube came along, and after people kept asking me, once I started making videos where I was actually talking to the camera instead of just doing drills, people said, yo, you should talk about this, talk about that. I guess they like the way I speak, the way I kind of disseminated information and shared my philosophies with people in a way that those you out there can understand. And that's where the motivational videos came from and all of that. So it definitely was not part of the plan, but I'm glad it became part of it. Basketball 23 Shoes says, can I talk more about the summer league situation, what I did, how it was, etc.? Well, nothing happened. I told you about the summer league a couple weeks ago that I was working some back channels to make it happen. It did not happen. I did not get signed to the summer league, but if you're watching this video, the NBA Summer League is going on right now. So if I was in it, you would know, because I'd be in it and I would have told you. So there's nothing else to say. GM Canlas says, what kind of setup do you have to record your training? Well, we set up the camera and we turn it on. That's it. The tripod, I guess you mean. That's it. Turn the camera on and you get to work. Nothing else to it. Go A123 says, what workout or workout program will best help increase vertical for dunking the basketball? That would be Jump Manual, DreAllDay.com/jump. If you use that link, I have a free giveaway on my website at DreAllDay.com/jump higher. So the program is at DreAllDay/jump. The free giveaway details, what you need to know, is at DreAllDay/jump higher. Big Pimpin says, what are your thoughts on LeBron going back to Cleveland? Well, I actually put out a video about that last either Friday or Saturday, Big Pimpin, so go check that out. John Naro CFM says, Dre, why are you wearing an Olympiacos shirt? Have you ever tried out in Greece? I think somebody already asked me that, but I got the shirt. A different team I was playing for, they gave me that jersey. I didn't even know it was Olympiacos, but then when people started seeing the picture of me wearing the shirt back then, everybody started saying, oh, Olympiacos is my favorite team. So I didn't know that was Olympiacos, but obviously now I do. Ahmed Masood said, what's the craziest dunk you can do? Well, it depends on what you consider to be crazy. Trickster HD says, I can't shoot at all to save my life. Any tips? You should probably stop shooting jump shots, drive to the basket. But otherwise, check out the actual shooting handbook by Coach Hoover or Pro Shot over at Pro Shot Shooting System. You can get that handbook. It's completely free. It's like 150 pages. It's crazy chock full of information. Everything you want to know about shooting. It costs you nothing. You get on my website, DreAllDay.com/PSSS. That stands for Pro Shot Shooting System. So go to that. Go to my website. Go to that link that I just gave you. You can get that for free. Matthew Eastman says, I play small forward. I have a great shot from anywhere on the court. I can shoot in traffic. I'm a pretty good all-around player, but in games, people say I should score 15 or 20 points, but I only score 10 or 12. What can I do to use my skill better? Well, it says Matt 2. Matt 2, first of all, you got to decide, do you agree with that? Do you think you should score 20 points a game, or are you just doing it, are you saying this because somebody else told you that? So just because somebody else told you should do something doesn't mean you should go do it. You need to think about whether or not you think it's a good idea to go do it. Now, as far as you actually, let's just assume that you do. What can you do to use your skill better to score more points in games? That would be really hard for me to say just based on that information. I would have to actually see you play or know something about the situation on the court that you're dealing with. Be more aggressive, look for more opportunities to score. It's really hard for me to say without seeing you play. That's very difficult. And as far as a lot of players ask me stuff about, can I watch them play and then give evaluation of your game. I have something coming very soon for that. I will announce that in a separate video. WOYG times 1010 is his name. He says, I don't know if you answered this already, but do you have to play for an AAU team to be recruited to a big school? I wouldn't necessarily say that you have to be playing for an AAU team to get recruited to a big school, but I believe that it does help. I have a couple of my college teammates actually are college coaches, and I've asked them stuff about this. Do you need to play AAU to get recruited? Do you need to play AAU to get exposure, to get seen, etc., etc.? And one of my friends said the first thing he finds out when he hears about a player is what AAU team he plays for. Because the thing with AAU is that when there are these AAU tournaments in the off season, that's where a lot of college coaches go to find players. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get recruited if you don't play AAU, but being there gives you a better chance of being seen if you have what those coaches are looking for. Jared Lopez, who says, who's my top 5 favorite NBA players? I made a video about this several months ago, and I don't even want to think about who my top 5 would be right now, because I'm not even thinking about the NBA season because it's off season. Tyrell Miller says, Dre, for Jump Manual, do you need a gym to do the program? Because I don't have access to one, but I was wondering if there's any way to still do it. Actually, the way the program is designed, Tyrell, is that you can do it without a gym. Jacob says you'll get better results if you do use a gym, but if you don't have a gym, you can still do the program. So you can, again, look that up, dreallday.com/jump. The free offer, dreallday/jump higher. Daniel Duran says, do people give you a nickname in basketball? I don't know what you mean by that, Daniel. Do people give you a nickname? I mean, people give you a nickname for anything. If they want to, but if they don't, then they don't. Tyson Williams says, I'm 5'9", I'm 15 years old, 5'9", 140 pounds. I'm a good scorer, but I'm not consistent. Do I have any ideas? Ideas on what, Tyson? See, when y'all contact me and ask me questions about your own specific situations, if you want a specific answer, you got to ask me a specific question. Y'all give me, sometimes I get very vague pieces of information, and then somebody says, do you have any tips? Or can you help me? Or what can I do? Be specific. If you want a specific answer, you got to ask me a specific question. So Tyson, I can't give you a specific answer because you didn't give me any information. Do I have any ideas? You're a good scorer, but you're not consistent. Be more consistent, playing more games, practice more so you have more skills to call on. Kendrick Lemire says, now that most big names of free agency have been signed, what team would I choose to win it all next year if I had to choose one right now? If I had to choose a team to win it all right now, based on the situation Friday, July 18th, I think the Spurs are in good position, and as my number 2, I'm going to have to go with the Chicago Bulls. That is with the healthy Derrick Rose. I'm assuming he's healthy because he's with Team USA. Sean John says, Dre, I'm just curious, do I think Kevin Durant will eclipse LeBron before he retires? In championship stats, PER, etc. In championships, I'm going to say no. In stats, I think in scoring, KD is already ahead of LeBron, not in total points, but in average, he's ahead of him already. As far as rebounds and assists, I think rebounds will be close to assists. He's not going to pass him in that. And PER, which is player efficiency rating, no, I think LeBron's going to be way higher just because LeBron's more all-around player. KD is more just a scorer. Not that he can't do the other things, but LeBron does other things a lot better. A lot 1998 says, have I ever utilized 2 basketballs for dribbling? Yes, I absolutely have. If you actually go through my channel, you'll see I got several drills where I'm actually dribbling with 2 basketballs. I got over 3,000 vids here, so I know they're not easy to find, but they are there. So if you just type in my name and type in 2-ball or 2 basketballs, 2-ball dribbling, you'll see those vids. ASAP Goldie says, thanks for the dunking drills you put up. After I start doing them, I got better at dunking. Do you think creatine is an unhealthy supplement? Well, first of all, you're welcome. I'm glad you got better at dunking. Do I think creatine is an unhealthy supplement? No, I don't think it's an unhealthy supplement, but it also depends on how you're using it, why you're using it, and what methods you're using to get it. What is it you're trying to gain from using creatine? So it's not, I can't really answer that question because there's really no other information. Just by asking is it healthy or unhealthy, that's like asking if eating bananas is healthy or unhealthy. I mean, if you eat too many of them or if you got an allergy to bananas, then it's probably unhealthy for you. But if you eat the right amount based on what you're trying to gain from it, knowing what you're putting in your body, then it could be a good thing. That's not the best example, but you had to give me more information than just asking me is creatine healthy or unhealthy. That's not a quantifiable question to answer based on that small piece of information. Jeezy Dog PSN says, great videos. Thank you. He says, do you think an 8th grader at 13 years old, a balanced slasher and shooter, okay defense, to try out for JV or go dominate against middle schoolers? I don't know. Jeezy Dog PSN. You tell me. Obviously, you might be this 8th grader who's 13 years old. If that's what you want to do, then you go do it. If you want to go try out for JV, try out for JV. And if you don't, then go try out for the middle school team. I don't understand. I don't even know why you would need to ask me that. Once you go try out for JV, and if you make it, then you play JV. And if you don't, then you can always fall back on the middle school if that's an option. Excuse me. Devin Miller says, the Toastmaster speeches that I post on my YouTube/Dre All Day channel. He says, are they pre-written and then memorized, or do I freestyle them? I did impromptu speeches on my debate team in high school. He says, I think it's pretty cool that you do the same. No, the Toastmaster speeches that I post, I know those speeches. I pre-write the speech, and then I know what I'm going to talk about when I get up there and speak. That is not impromptu speaking. There is a part of the meeting where we do impromptu speaking, but the speeches that I post is not the impromptu. That's something different. I do that also, but I don't post those on YouTube. Samuel SL says, have I ever thought about making it a Hakeem Olajuwon hoop-handbook? I have not, but now that you mention it, now I'm thinking about it. Ryan Comito says, Dre, I'm 13 in 7th grade. I have a good skill set, but I'm not very athletic. I'm working on losing body fat. I was wondering if ab workouts will completely make me an all-around athlete with speed, quickness, etc. I do have the ultimate athlete, but I'm still curious about this. Well, Ryan, you're 13 in 7th grade. You want to lose body fat. An ab workout is not going to make you an all-around athlete with speed and quickness. Now think about this, Ryan. Why would doing ab exercises make you an all-around athlete with speed and quickness? Ab exercises are not going to make you fast or quick. That makes no sense. Speed and quickness is all in the legs. So doing an ab workout is not going to have any effect at all on that. I mean, it has some effect because the entire body gets used, but no. You had an Ultimate Athlete program. I guarantee you if you go through the full 15 weeks and follow the program, then you probably be in a much better athletic position than you are right now. You said you have the program, but you're curious about doing an ab workout, which I'm going to deduce from that you haven't done the program yet. So once you do the program, you got it. What are you going to do with it? Just sit there and hold it, go do the program, get the results, and then you already know what you need to do next. Joel Ariola says, Dre, have I visited New York before? So what are your favorite things you like about New York? Of course I visited New York before. I'm from Philadelphia. It was only 2 hours away. I just mentioned earlier in the video I was in New York for the summer series. I'm actually going to be in New York in about a week again for something different. But one of my favorite things about New York, the city never sleeps. That's the best part about New York. Anything you want to do, you can find it probably within walking distance almost anywhere you at. The city is always awake 2, 3 in the morning. There's people walking around in cars, driving around as if it's just a normal, like it's 2, 3 in the afternoon. So that's the best part about New York. Adrian Morales says, why don't you listen to music while playing ball? Because I just don't. I mean, there's nothing else I can say to that. Rashad Merota said, if you had the skills you have right now and you were in 9th grade, do you think you could have made the varsity team? Yeah, of course. When I was in 9th grade, you're talking like, it's like 14 or 15 years old, of course. Mike says, Dre, I really love your channel, your weekly motivations, and your content. Well, thank you, Mike. He says, I have an issue that I need help with. I'm in high school, about to be a junior. I don't want to play JV next year because as a junior, it's kind of a pride thing. I feel I had to improve from last year as far as upgrading my level of play. My coach told me I'm a solid player with potential, which makes me happy to hear he thinks that. 2 things he told me. He said I should work on our defense, as far as turning it on, getting the motor going, and confidence on the varsity level, and I can get a lot of minutes. What do I think would help him in those 2 parts of his game? So defense, getting the motor going, and confidence on the varsity level. Well, what you're going to need to do, Mike, is go find some players who are better than you at that varsity level, those guys, and play against them. Because getting your motor going is not a book you can read that's going to get your motor going. It's not a video you can watch that's going to get your motor going. That's something you had to actually go out and physically do. And as far as confidence, you're not going to get confidence from reading about it, talking about it, or thinking about it. You got to go out there and develop it by actually doing the thing you need to be confident at. So go do something, and you'll develop those 2 things that the coach told you to develop. Chris O.S. says, Dre, you have thousands and thousands of videos, even more playlists than most people have videos. The channel contains almost everything a basketball player could want. What drives you to make all these videos? What inspires you to be this inspirational? That's a good one. What inspires you to be this inspirational? That's a good, I like the way he worded that question. Well, Chris OS, as far as, well, first of all, thank you. As far as what drives me, what my motivation is, check out for weekly motivation number 200, which is coming not tomorrow, but the following week. I think the next one tomorrow is weekly motivation 199. The following Monday will be weekly motivation 200. The video is already recorded, it's finished, and you'll see that Monday, I believe that's July 28th. Weekly motivation 200 will answer that question in detail. Jason Lakatos says, the shooting hand, do you grip it or have it loose in your hand? It's a very disjointed question. I don't understand, Jason. You're going to have to leave a comment in this video and actually work on the structuring of that sentence to make it make sense. David Hall says, Dre, I'm thinking about the jump manual. I want to know if a gym is needed or if I can do it, the workout in my backyard. Well, David, you probably have already heard I addressed that exact question already. Tony says, are you still planning an event in Miami for the summer? I absolutely am. I am going to have, for those of you who don't know, I'm going to have like a hoops meetup type of situation. There's some outdoor court somewhere in Miami before the end of the summer. There's only about a month left in the summer, so time is of the essence. It will come. I will post a video. It will be on a weekend day, like in the morning, so I will let y'all know. Brian B says, is the ball supposed to touch your palm when you dribble? It doesn't really matter what it's supposed to do. All that matters when you dribble is that you keep control of the ball, whatever you need to do. Does the ball touch your palm when you dribble? Of course the ball touches your palm. If you go try to dribble a basketball without it ever touching your palm, it makes no sense. You'd be trying to avoid it for no reason. It's not a violation or anything like that. Just dribble the basketball. If you watch basketball on TV and you slow-mo somebody dribbling, you'll see the ball touching their entire hand often. Scoogs says, will Brad Beal and John Wall be in the next batch of signature workout programs? Yes, they absolutely will both be in the next batch. Christian Irons says, I'm in the process of moving to a better school for athletic purposes. My friend is transferring to the rival school because of his parents. What can we do so we can play together? Well, I guess I would have to go to the same school, Christian. Casey Murphy says, my voice is high and always cracking. How can I get a low voice like you? Casey, you're probably going to have to keep growing. I'm pretty sure you're probably a teenager. You're probably just going to have to keep growing. And as you complete puberty, your voice will probably get deeper. Filthy Noonga says, whenever I get the ball in the break and I got an open lane, I never go for the dunk. Today I slowed down completely. I did a shitty jump stop layup sort of thing and I missed it. I can dunk easily, but I get timid or something. I have no idea how I'm going to fix it. I haven't got another game for a week and I can't stop thinking about it. LOL. Well, Filthy, you didn't actually ask a question, but if you want to get better at having the confidence to go in and dunk, then you just got to practice going in and dunking. So even since you don't have a game, go practice by yourself, drive to the basket and dunk the basketball, and keep doing it till it becomes habit, till it becomes muscle memory. So then you'll get in the game, you'll dunk it, and you won't even think about the fact that you just did it. William Sosa says, who do I think is a better point guard, Rajon Rondo or Chris Paul? I'm going to have to go with Chris Paul. John Jones says, Dre, I recently got Beats by Dre, and I see on your Instagram, my Instagram is Dre Baldwin, one word. He says you work out with Beats by Dre headphones. How long have you had them? How do you take care of them? I've had them for a couple of years, and there is no taking care of them. I put them on when I work out, put them back in the gym bag, and I don't see them again until I'm working out again. So it ain't really there's no maintenance program. I don't have any special tips for taking care of them. Just, that's it. Put them away. Take them out when you need them. State of Nate 802 says, my favorite Major League Baseball player. I do not have one. Stefan Rajcevic says, Omar Thomas played Red Star Belgrade and was MVP of the Serbian League. He's talking about a guy I mentioned last week who had beat me one-on-one, one of the best players I ever played one-on-one when I was a teenager. And I didn't know he played in Belgrade and he was MVP of the Serbian League, but I definitely believe it. That dude can go. Jonathan Marin says, Dre, I need help. How can I get a player out of a slump? I'm a really good shooter from mid-range, but I can't make anything now, even missing layups. I'm scared to shoot because I don't want to screw up. So my question is, how can I overcome a slump? Well, the first thing you could do, you could probably check out that Pro Shot Shooting System Handbook, DreAllDay/PSSS, to read up on shooting, to see what you might be doing wrong. The second thing is get on the court and get some shots up. Not in games, but go practice by yourself and shoot until you get it fixed, until you get it right. Dmitrij Tukovic says, what was your most favorite book ever? Favorite book ever is Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Tough Tanny says, do I watch World Star Hip Hop? Hell no. JW says, will you make it Andrew Wiggins or Jabari Parker's signature workout? Oh, they're going to have to play in the NBA for a little while before I do that. But maybe in the future. But right now, no. They got to actually play before I can do that. Johan Pais says he has a health question. How often do you eat unhealthy foods like fries, fried chicken, ice cream, once a week, month, or year? Probably closer to once a month. Frosty Breath says, Dre, I'm having this problem with my layups are getting blocked from behind every time. I'm not taking it to the rack. Am I not taking it to the rack aggressive enough, or am I not jumping high enough? I don't know. I'm short, so I can drop low and blow by anybody, but this stays happening to me. Any help? Well, the first way you can help yourself, Frosty Bread, is first of all, analyze what it is you're doing is before your shot's getting blocked. Are you not creating enough space between yourself and the person who's blocking your shot? Maybe you can try stopping shorter for a little runner or a floater. Maybe you can shoot a short jump shot. Maybe you can work on reverses so that when you go up on one side of the basket and that guy's coming from behind to block you, you can reverse it and finish with the other hand on the other side of the basket. These are all things that you can practice on your own, and nobody is stopping you from doing that. Snapback Shack says, Dre, how can I get a chest like yours? What are some toning-defining chest workouts? I would say you can take a look at the Ultimate Athlete and or the Position of Power. Both of those are off-training programs available at hoophandbook.com. Lil Mo 102, he asked me about the Summer League. I already addressed the Summer League situation earlier in the video. The game is on. Says, thanks for all the videos to help all us players improve. We only got 2 more questions here. Help all us players improve our games. My question is, how do you improve in-game stamina? I went to a basketball camp, and in the games I noticed that I got tired after the first couple of possessions. I'm a pretty chubby kid, but not too chubby. I'm 14 years old, 5'8", 160 pounds, and I know that contributes to my exhaustion. What are some drills you suggest to improve my stamina at home since I have limited access to a full basketball court? Well, the game is on. You can take a look at the Ultimate Athlete 15-week off-court training program, which you can do at home. Just like you mentioned, that would be my number 1 answer. And yeah, I mean, you're asking for drills, that's it, Ultimate Athlete. If you're not on an actual basketball court, Ultimate Athlete be the best thing for you to get. Last question is from Travis. He says, I love all your vids. You really helped me become a better player and a better person. You're welcome, Travis, and thank you. He says, do you ever feel discouraged or down on yourself knowing you put in countless hours in improving your game, having you achieve your ultimate goal of playing in the NBA? Well, first of all, I never actually said that my ultimate goal was to play in the NBA. You never actually heard me say that. But I understand the gist of his question, which is basically saying, do I ever feel discouraged or down because I put in all this work in basketball and didn't make the highest level of basketball, which is the NBA? No, I don't feel discouraged or down about it, because at the same time that I was been working on that, all of a sudden this came about, like me building up the Dre All Day, to work on your brand, the website, the YouTube, work on your game brand, the website, the YouTube, and all this other stuff that came about, which wasn't planned. But I would feel like I've gone and made something happen with this, in addition to working on the basketball stuff at the same time. And there's a lot of basketball players who might play at the league who I probably got more fans than they do, or I'm more known than they are, just because of the stuff that I've done online. And the thing about playing the NBA is that there's about 500 guys in there, and there's a lot of players who play in the NBA is just one of those 500. There's nothing actually that special about them. There's a few of them. But when you talk about this that I'm doing right here, I'm the only one doing it. I invented it. I've done the most of it. I own it. And that's something I'm actually going to address in more detail, Travis. So thanks for asking. I'm going to address that in more detail in Weekly Motivation 200, which is titled, What is Your Why? And that's a question addressed to me. I will be addressing that in detail, Weekly Motivation 200 on July 28th, Monday. The video will be out early. So that's it. 34 minutes for this video. Everybody, thank you for the questions. I'm tired of talking. Again, that Kickstarter campaign. Y'all want to see me play against these Verse 1 Federation dudes? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to Austin, and we're going to handle business. I need you to support that campaign if you want to see that game. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.
Hey, somebody sign that kid Dre Baldwin, man. I swear to God, man, he need to be on the team, man. That nigga be ballin', man. I be ballin' too, I swear. Man, I feel like Dre Ball, Dre Ball, Dre Ball. I feel like Dre Ball, Dre Ball, Dre Ball.